Have you ever heard of someone making six figures a year but still struggling to pay their $2,400 mortgage? It sounds crazy, right? You'd think earning $100,000 or more would mean financial freedom, vacations, savings, and no money stress. But today, that's far from reality for millions of Americans. So why is this happening? Why are high-income earners living paycheck to paycheck? In this video, we're breaking down how people making six figures are still barely surviving, and what it says about the real state of the economy, housing, and personal finance in 2025. Welcome back to Stock Predictor, where we dive deep into money, markets, and the mindset needed to grow wealth. Let's start with a simple story that's become all too common. Imagine a couple, both working professionals. Together, they bring in around $120,000 a year, that's roughly $10,000 a month before taxes. They buy a modest home in a suburban area. Their mortgage is $2,400 a month, which seems reasonable. But when you break down their other expenses, car payments, insurance, groceries, childcare, healthcare, utilities, and taxes, suddenly that six-figure income doesn't stretch as far as it used to. Here's the harsh truth. Six figures in today's economy doesn't mean rich anymore. It barely means comfortable. Let's look at where all that money goes. First, taxes. Between federal, state, Social Security, and Medicare, a typical household earning $120,000 might lose around $25,000 to $30,000 a year in taxes. That already drops your take-home pay to about $90,000, or $7,500 a month. Now subtract that $2,400 mortgage payment, you're down to about $5,100 left for everything else. Groceries for a family of four, that's about $900 a month. Car payments, let's say 2 vehicles, even if they're modest, maybe $400 each, that's another $800. Add gas, insurance, and maintenance, another $400 to $500 a month. Health insurance premiums can easily run $600 to $1,000 monthly, depending on your plan. Childcare, easily $1,000 to $1,500 per child in many areas. Add in utilities, internet, phone, and basic living expenses, and suddenly, you're not saving much of anything. At the end of the month, that six-figure couple might have $200 or $300 left, if they're lucky. One unexpected expense, like a medical bill or car repair, can wipe that out instantly. So how did we get here? The answer lies in 3 words: lifestyle inflation, cost of living, and stagnant wages. Let's start with lifestyle inflation. As people earn more, they tend to spend more. It's not always reckless spending. Sometimes it's just trying to keep up with what feels normal. You get a raise, you upgrade your car. You buy a slightly bigger home. You start eating out a bit more. You send your kids to better schools. The problem? Those small upgrades add up quickly, and your income increase gets swallowed whole by your new lifestyle. Now combine that with the second problem, the cost of living. Over the last few years, prices for nearly everything have skyrocketed. Housing, groceries, childcare, energy, insurance, all up dramatically. The median home price in the US has jumped more than 40% since 2020. Mortgage rates have doubled since their record lows, making that same house cost hundreds more per month. Even people who bought before the rate hikes are feeling the squeeze through rising property taxes and insurance premiums. In some states, property insurance alone has doubled or tripled. So even if your mortgage payment hasn't changed, the total cost of owning your home probably has. And then we have stagnant wages. While expenses have skyrocketed, wages haven't kept up. Yes, 6 figures sounds like a lot, but $100,000 in 2025 doesn't have the same power as $100,000 in 2000. Adjusted for inflation, it's equivalent to earning around $60,000 back then. That means your paycheck buys far less than it used to, even though the number looks impressive. Add it all up, and you can see why people making 6 figures still feel broke. But it's not just about math, it's about mindset too. Many people have been sold the dream that as long as you make more, your financial problems will disappear. But if your spending habits rise with your income, you'll never feel financially free, no matter how much you make. The average six-figure earner in America often lives in a high-cost area, cities like Los Angeles, New York, Austin, or Miami. In these cities, rent or mortgage payments of $2,400 a month are actually low compared to the average. Childcare, insurance, groceries, even parking can drain a paycheck faster than you think. So, when people online say, if you make $100,000, you should be fine, they're ignoring regional realities. Let's dig deeper into that $2,400 mortgage, because that's a big piece of the puzzle. For many people, housing costs should ideally be around 25% to 30% of your gross income. But with today's home prices and interest rates, millions of homeowners are spending 40% or even 50% of their income on housing. That's what financial experts call house poor. It means you have a nice home, but not enough cash left to actually enjoy your life. And being house poor is exhausting. You might have a great career, nice things, and a beautiful home, but behind the scenes you're juggling bills, skipping savings, and feeling constant anxiety about money. That's not freedom, that's financial stress disguised as success. But here's where things get even more concerning. Many people have built their entire financial structure on the assumption that their income will always rise. So they take on big car loans, expensive homes, and multiple credit cards thinking they'll grow into it. But what happens when layoffs hit, bonuses disappear, or inflation continues to climb? Suddenly, even a six-figure household is one emergency away from financial crisis. This isn't just a personal issue, it's a systemic one. America's middle and upper middle class are being squeezed harder than ever. Housing affordability is at a historic low. Credit card debt is at record highs. Student loans have returned. Healthcare costs are brutal. And despite all that, people are still told to just budget better, as if cutting out lattes will solve the problem. So what can you actually do if you're in this situation, making good money but still struggling to stay ahead? Let's talk about some real strategies that work in today's economy. First, you need to get brutally honest about your spending. Track every dollar for 1 month. Use an app, a spreadsheet, or even pen and paper. You'll be shocked how much disappears into small, mindless purchases, food delivery, subscriptions, impulse buys. The goal isn't to cut out all joy, but to take back control. Second, rethink your housing costs. If your mortgage or rent is eating up more than 35% of your income, it's worth considering a move, refinancing, or even renting out a room. Housing is often your biggest expense, so even a small reduction there can free up serious breathing room. Third, focus on building an emergency fund. Six-figure earners often assume their income protects them, but it doesn't. Job loss, medical bills, or market downturns can happen to anyone. Start with 1 month of expenses, then aim for 3 to 6. Fourth, avoid lifestyle creep. Every time your income rises, don't upgrade everything. Instead, keep your expenses flat for a while and let your savings grow. That's how you actually move forward financially, by widening the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Fifth, invest smartly. Put your money to work through diversified investments, index funds, retirement accounts, or even side hustles that generate passive income. The key is to make your money work for you, not just sit in a checking account. And finally, talk about money honestly. So many people in this income bracket feel embarrassed to admit they're struggling. But the truth is, this problem is widespread. It's not a failure, it's a symptom of a system where the cost of living keeps climbing faster than wages. If you're making 6 figures and still feel broke, you're not alone. You're living in an economy where the definition of middle class keeps shifting upward. What used to be considered a solid income is now barely enough to maintain stability in many areas. Let's be real, $100,000 used to feel like success. Today, in many major cities, it feels like survival. That doesn't mean people are doing something wrong. It means the system around them has changed faster than their paychecks could keep up. Think about how many hidden costs have crept into everyday life. Streaming services, phone upgrades, insurance premiums, convenience fees, shrinkflation. In grocery stores, every little thing costs just a bit more. And when everything costs a bit more, it adds up to a lot. There's also the social pressure to appear successful. The nice house, the nice car, the vacations. People feel like they have to show they're doing well, even if that means financing a lifestyle they can barely afford. But remember, looking rich and being rich are two completely different things. The ones who truly build wealth are often the ones who live quietly below their means. They don't chase every upgrade or trend. They focus on owning assets, not just things. They let time and discipline do the work. If you're watching this and realizing, wow, this is me, I'm earning good money but constantly stressed, take it as your wake-up call. You're not failing, you're just playing in a financial game that's been rigged against the middle class. But you can still win, by changing how you play. Start today by making one simple change, whether it's tracking your spending, cutting one unnecessary bill, or automating your savings. Small steps compound into big results over time. And if you're still dreaming about that day when your income finally makes you feel secure, remember this: financial freedom doesn't come from how much you make, it comes from how you manage what you keep. So, the next time you hear someone say, I make 6 figures and still can't afford my $2,400 mortgage, don't judge them. Understand that they're part of a growing group of Americans caught between rising costs and stagnant wages. It's not about being lazy or irresponsible, it's about surviving an economy that's changed faster than anyone expected. The good news: awareness is the first step toward change. Once you see where the problem is, you can start to fix it. And that's exactly what we talk about here on Stock Predictor: how to take control of your money, understand the system, and make it work for you instead of against you. If you found this video valuable, Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more financial insights, and share this with someone who might need to hear it. Because financial stress is real, but knowledge is the first step to freedom. Thanks for watching Stock Predictor, where smart minds learn to build smarter money. Stay focused, stay informed, and as always, invest in yourself first.